All right, we start out our Superfan series here on Bull in the Basement. Now, you may not recognize our guest in his car with perfectly a Bills jacket on. I have my Bills t-shirt on appropriately. We're joined this morning by John Lang, who is, yes, Elvis at the Bills games. The Superfan series on Bull in the Basement starts now. John, thanks for doing this. Good day. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's good to talk to you again.
We're going to go through a little bit of your backstory and then obviously through the story of Bills Elvis. Were you born and raised here in Western New York?
Yes. Yeah, basically grew up in Gasport area. So yes, lifelong Bills fan.
People want to know what you do day to day because Bills fans, all of them have regular jobs. What's yours?
I'm a sales guy. I work for a division of Home Depot called HD Supply. So I'm out on the road throughout Western New York all day. We sell maintenance supplies into like the management companies that own apartment groups and like government housing and things like that. So it's a great job. I've been doing it a long time now. It's
so weird because I'm assuming that people, when they think of Bills super fans, they literally think of you guys as superheroes who all that you do is do your Bills, characters, but not the case. You're just like most of the other season ticket holders out there. You just do like they do on Sunday, get into your super fandom and do your thing. How about family, wife, kids, the whole deal?
Yeah, my wife Teresa's a school teacher up in Lockport at the high school. 2 kids. Abby's my oldest daughter, and she's 23, and my son Johnny's 21, and he's at college down in Edinburgh, PA. And yeah, I'm very blessed. I got a beautiful family.
Very cool. And I'm assuming they are all as super fan as you are.
Oh yeah.
So will John Jr. at some point, and I, God forbid the day when it happens, but at some point I'm assuming Elvis has to retire. Is John being John Jr., Johnny being groomed to take over your mantra there?
It's hard to say. I don't know. I think my daughter's more in on it than my son, but yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It's all good.
I met you for the first time in Jacksonville at the playoff game. I mean, you've been doing this forever. The problem with me is for most of my career, have been in the press box or on the sideline doing radio. So I've never really been in the lots and doing all that sort of tailgate fandom kind of stuff. And then I had the chance to go to the playoff game, and there you were. I was like, oh my God, I got to go meet Elvis. What a perfect opportunity. And there it was. And I was so happy I did because we built a little bit of a relationship. So again, more about you, your fandom, always, like since day one, the first, you knew, like you had a Bills onesie when you were born. I mean, did your parents bring you into Bills fandom when you were younger?
Some of my best earliest childhood memories are sitting at my grandparents' house in Orchard Park, watching my grandfather scream at O.J. Simpson on TV and Jack Kemp, and cheering and watching everybody in the living room jumping around to this black and white TV. And yeah, ever since then, I mean, it's just been, I've been the biggest fan going.
Do you have a count in terms of how many games you've been to?
Oh, geez. When I was a kid, my father would take us to maybe one a year at the most. Since I came back into town in the 90s and got my season tickets in 92, I've only missed 3 games since 92.
Wow. And you've been to road games too?
Yeah, I like to go to one a year anyways. Yeah.
Is there one on the docket this year?
I'm hoping to go to Tampa.
Oh, I hope you do too.
Plan. Yeah.
That would be the most appropriate. Actually, the most appropriate would be SoFi Stadium in February. That would be the best road game to go to, right?
Right on. Absolutely. Yep.
So when you were a kid, Rock Pile or Rich Stadium?
It was Rich Stadium.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. And the early years of Rich Stadium, when people thought, oh my gosh, what a gorgeous building compared to the Rock Pile, right? And now we all know what it is.
Yes, exactly.
Do you have an opinion as to the new stadium where you like? I mean, do you think it's like they're talking about remain in Orchard Park? Do you favor a downtown stadium? Do you care?
I would love it right here in Orchard Park. I love the tailgating, the parking, the accessibility of getting in and out of the stadium. It's a lot simpler here than I think it would be downtown. And yeah, I'm a huge tailgater. I'm here bright and early in the morning. So I don't want a downtown stadium. I really don't. And I'm glad that they're going to keep it open air too. I'm all in as far as I love the cold games. I love watching Miami come here and freeze their butts off in December. I'm all in on all that. And the only thing I wish we had here is real grass. It's like it's football. It should be on grass and it should be open air and should be tough. It's football.
Yeah, for sure. But I'll tell you what, as a kid myself, you remember maybe most particular when you're talking about games like that. I remember the Shea Stadium games more than any when we played the Jets, and it was just partial baseball field, partial grass, but it was everybody. You couldn't see jersey numbers because everybody was filthy, dirty, and muddy and awful. And yeah, I mean, that's how everybody pretty much grows up. But then in 2021, every high school now has turf, right? I mean, there's very few schools really anywhere that has a grass field anymore.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
Yeah.
Yes.
For you, do you have a most memorable game for any particular reason? I mean, you said you've been to so many of them, hundreds. Is there one that really sticks out that you were at?
Yeah, it would have to be the comeback game. It's funny because people go, "Oh, you didn't leave," or this or that, and it's like, well, no, I'm in the video. So I was there. And it was funny though, because at halftime, that's when you could bring in coolers of beer and whatever you wanted. I remember my wife and I had like 3 beers sitting at our feet in this little cooler. And she's like, we should just go. And I go, when these beers are gone, we'll leave. And we sat there, and then the momentum changed. And then of course there was no leaving that game. And it's just amazing. It's still, I look at the highlights of it and I'm blown away by the incredible game that it was.
We had Steve Christie on a couple of episodes ago, and he talked very briefly about that game and the fact that, and a lot of people don't remember this, well, you probably do, that he recovered an onside kick in that game, and that was a big part of the turnaround in the game. I forgot about that play because I remember him, kicking the game-winning field goal in that game, but people forget that he actually recovered his own onside kick that helped in the comeback.
Yeah, there was a lot of just crazy, spooky stuff that happened in that game too, with the gusts of wind, and it was just meant to be. It was incredible.
So it was Elvis chugging a beer that got the comeback started. Basically, we're going to start that right here.
We'll go with that, sure. Yeah.
We're doing our Superfan series on Bull in the Basement. And a couple more things before we get to the evolution of Elvis. But how long have you had those corner end zone seats?
Let's see. I started in '92 with seats at the other corner. And then they built the new scoreboard. I want to say it was probably the following year that I ended up moving to where I'm at now, 126. So yeah, it's been almost the entire time in 126.
Are you next to the chefs, or like how far away are you from those guys? I know they're pretty close to you.
Yeah, they're right at the other end of my aisle there.
Oh my
gosh. They're good guys. Yeah, it's a fun
crazy. Crazy.
That's crazy. Yeah.
So you mentioned the tailgate. Where typically do you tailgate, and what is your absolute go-to must-have at a tailgate?
We're in the dirt lot, actually, right across from O'Neill's here. It's that lot probably holds 1,000 cars, and we're at the very back of the lot. There's probably 50 of us from Lockport that are there at 7:15 ish. And I'm usually in charge of the music and bringing a few bottles of whatever and some chicken wings. And we've got a really good kid, Tony Roman, that he brings all these grills and a smoker and all tents and tables. And yeah, like I said, there's at least 50 of us from Lockport that are there, and it's just incredibly awesome.
It is very curious, John Lang, also known as Elvis Superfan series on Bull in the Basement. It is very curious that the Bills tailgate is most known for now for smashing tables, and you, my friend, work for a subsidiary of Home Depot. This is a little weird.
Yeah, if that would have been around that table breaking thing when I would have been in my 30s, I would have, participated in all the acrobatics of it. But I'm like 60 years old now, and I'm afraid I'd break a hip.
Right. Can't have that. We don't want to break the
No.
streak. We don't want to break the streak. How do you have any idea how many times you've been on TV?
Oh, geez. I really couldn't even begin to tell you. It's typically, I mean, almost every game. So it's it's a lot. I know it was 1997 or 8-ish. I got voted by Sports Illustrated as the most famous fan in sports. So it's been a lot. Yeah.
Where is
A lot
that
of,
hanging?
yeah. I got told that by somebody. So yeah, I don't know. It's been a lot of years of a lot of fun.
Absolutely. All right, so let's get to Elvis. Did it happen on game 1 of your season ticketdom? Did it happen before you got season tickets? How did Elvis evolve? How did it come about?
From what I can recall, it was in '92 there, and a buddy of mine who was a big Miami fan called me, and he wanted to bet on the Bills Miami game. So I was trying to figure out a way to double or nothing the bet. And I go, you know what? My seats are good. I'm going to see if I can get on TV, and I'll bet you double or nothing on a box of cigars. So I found an old guitar I had, and I put Squish the Fish on it. And my wife painted some sideburns, and I had a goofy suit I was wearing. She put some sideburns on me, and they had me on the broadcast. Then they had me in the paper. Then they had me on Chris Berman was making fun of me all week, which is absolutely awesome, hilarious. So yeah, needless to say, I won the bet, and my whole section was great about it. They were like, "You got to keep doing this. This is a riot. You got to keep doing it." So it kind of grew out of that Miami game in '92.
So you did it in that game. Was there any conversation about, do I do it again? Or, I mean, was there any hesitancy, or was it automatic that you're going to be Elvis every game going forward after that?
Yeah, as I walked out of that game, I'm like, yeah, I gotta figure something out here, because I got to do this again, because I had so much fun with it. Yeah, it was just a riot.
Talk about the jumpsuit. Is it the same one you started with? How many jumpsuits have you had? Who's responsible? Who's the designer? Who are you wearing, if you will?
uh, so this is probably the 5th or 6th one that I've had, and I got a friend of mine, Holly Mullaney, up in Lockport, that does my suit for me. And she just started another one, because this one's starting to look and smell a little ragged. So yeah, it's time. But it's funny. I get people to give me patches and give me stuff to put on it. So I try to put all that stuff on it. I've had a lot of fun with that.
Okay, you mentioned the guitar. Is it still the original? And if not, what number guitar are you on?
Oh, geez. I probably go through at least 3 a year.
No
guitars.
kidding.
Yeah. My mother was finding them at garage sales for me for quite a while. I have a lot of the local music stores that save them for me. I know the guy in Springville at Springville Music. He'll give me like at least 3 a year, and he's a real good guy down there and stuff. And I have people drop them off at my house that I don't even know. So so yeah, it's all great. Yeah, it's really good.
Okay, now there have been some, let's be honest here. There have been some, when there were 17 years no playoffs. There were some pretty lean years for the Bills when they were not very good. Was there ever a John Belushi Animal House guitar moment for Elvis?
Yes. there was a lot of them, actually. I remember walking out into the lot and smashing a guitar, and then I took the remnants of it to Finnan's Bar up in Lockport, and the owner there's Bev. She was like, "Hey, we got to hang this in the guitar and up in the bar." I was like, "Sure, you can have it." So, yeah, there's definitely that.
So good. Do you name the guitars? I know, BB King famously names his guitar, right? I mean, do you name your guitars at all?
I can't say that I have, no, but that's an excellent idea. Maybe I should.
Okay, very good. Do you have any idea how many appearances that you think you've made outside of, being at a Bills game or a tailgate? I'm sure you've been asked hundreds of times to appear at fill in the blank events.
Yeah, a lot of stuff. Yeah, everything from birthday parties to all different kinds of interviews, and uh, I have the best time doing what I do. It's a riot, absolute riot.
It's
So
super
yeah,
cool.
I couldn't even give you a count. I really couldn't at all.
Yeah. So what I'm thinking now, if I were your agent, you probably already have one, or maybe your wife is your agent. I don't know. You should probably start doing a cameo thing if you haven't already.
Yeah, I my daughter keeps bugging me on that. You know, the young and technical, better than me. She's like, Dad, you got to do this, you got to do that, and I'm like, yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm probably going to work another year and a half, and maybe I'll do a whole bunch more of that sort of stuff. So,
I was going to say it's your retirement plan. Put that in place,
yeah, it could
right?
be. Yeah, you never know.
um, this is interesting because the blood kind of got flowing when it came to doing this whole Bills Superfan series. When I saw a picture of you on social media. You were just this past week in Wyoming, right? At a Wyoming football game.
Yes, yes. So last year, a buddy of mine showed me the video of the night Josh Allen was drafted. It's on YouTube from Laramie, Wyoming. It's from the Buckhorn Saloon in Laramie, and it's one of the coolest videos I've ever seen. They're showing, it's for the 7th pick of the draft, goes to the Buffalo Bills from Wyoming, Josh Allen, and it shows this bar, the Buckhorn, just it's packed and everybody's dancing around. Then it shows out in the street and people are going crazy out in the street there. Well, my one buddy who's retired and very wealthy, he goes, isn't this cool? I go, no. I said, we have to go there. We got to go. So it kind of started with that, where we had to figure out an away Bills game and a home Wyoming game. And all our buddies up at this one bar we're sitting around in, I go, hey, why don't we all get together and go out to this? We'll figure out a tailgate and we'll have a riot with it. And it took on a crazy life of its own. Just amazing. Yeah, just amazing weekend.
So the Wyoming Josh Allen fans were 100% knowledgeable of clearly who you were.
So it was kind of funny because I was on my way out and my phone rang in Nebraska as I'm driving along, and it was a reporter from Syracuse. And he said, we want to interview you about this Wyoming trip you're going on or whatever. I'm like, well, I'm on my way right now. And we spoke for a little while. And then all of a sudden I got a call from a radio station in Laramie. Then I got a call from a TV station out there. Then I got a call from the athletic department. And then I got a call from like their sideline reporter. And it took on a crazy life of its own as I was driving in. And I got there and it was like our group from Lockport were like these rock stars walking into Laramie, and it was just off the charts, just incredible.
And so they adopted you obviously as one of their own, clearly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're such giant Bills fans out there. It's so funny because they used to be Broncos fans because of the proximity to Denver. They're only a couple hours up from Denver. But after Denver passed on Josh Allen, it didn't take him in that draft, which they could have. They have taken on, the Bills Mafia thing, and man, they are just all in, and they're giant Bills fans.
So we're talking about sort of the Northwest or the Plains or whatever you would call Wyoming. You also split some time in Montana, is that right?
Yes, actually, I have season tickets for the Montana Grizz also, and I go out there as often as possible. I've got land in Missoula and a lot of great friends there. Played rugby for the Missoula team, and every chance I get, I go out there and goof off with my buddies in Missoula. So yeah, I love it there too.
It's beautiful country. You're probably a fan of the show Yellowstone, I'm assuming.
Yes. Yep, for sure.
With our Bills Superfan series and Elvis John Lang joining us finally, let's talk about the team and what you've seen over the first couple of weeks. Obviously, Josh has come out himself and said, listen, I've not played up to expectations and certainly to ability, and we got to get better. I maintain they beat an NFL team 35-0. Well, not really good on offense, right? I mean, that's for me a great sign. And their defense, albeit against a backup quarterback in Miami, is playing at a whole different level. Now, granted, progressively after, Washington and Houston, things will get a little bit more difficult. But what are your thoughts after 2 weeks and then, going forward with the Bills?
Yeah, I got to say, after the first game, I had high expectations, and I came out to my car and I wanted to cry. But it's after watching last week and then thinking about the draft that we did with those two big defensive ends, right, 1 and 2 in the picks. Those guys are just gigantic human beings, and it seems like they're great athletes as well. So I love the draft. I love what we did last week there against Miami. And like you said, that for us not clicking and still having 35 points, that's amazing. It is.
Yeah. So long term, I mean, tons of people pick Bills Super Bowl. I mean, are you on that? Are you on that bandwagon?
Yeah, I'm on that bandwagon. Let's knock on my wood here. I'm all in on that for sure. Yeah, that's
people can be down on the Bills. That the Chiefs have a loss too. So if that's the team we're chasing, as far as last I checked, the records are the same. So thank you, Baltimore, I guess, for that, right? Hey, listen, I know you're in the middle of your workday and you took some time to pull off. You happen to be out near the stadium, ironically, and sitting in the parking lot at O'Neill's, which is super cool that you were able to do that. I really appreciate your time, man. It's great to talk to you. Thank you for everything you've done in terms of the tailgate and the fandom. And you're obviously an honorary member of Bills Mafia and all of that. You're awesome. People love you, and can't wait to see you again soon. Thanks for doing this.
Well, thanks for having me on, Rich. It's great to talk to you.